Right now, if the temperature drops, you reach for a jacket without even thinking about it. 2 million years ago, that jacket didn't exist, and neither did the thick fur that covers almost every other mammal on the planet. Somewhere along the way, your ancestors lost nearly all of their body hair while staying out in the open sun every single day. Then those same ancestors started walking out of Africa into places where the ground froze solid every winter. Welcome back. You're still Thok, and today you're about to find out how a hairless ape with no coat survived the cold and ended up inventing something you're probably wearing right now. Picture this. You're walking at night and the temperature drops below freezing. Within minutes, your fingers go numb, your teeth start chattering, and you can't feel your own ears anymore. For an animal covered in fur, this is just another night. For you, with bare skin, this is the beginning of hypothermia, and it can kill you in a matter of hours. Let's start with the fur you don't have. Out on the open savanna, under the African sun, sweating was the only thing keeping your body from overheating while you hunted. Thick fur traps heat against the skin, so over hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors traded most of that fur for millions of sweat glands instead. That trade made you one of the best long-distance runners on the planet. It also left you with almost no protection the moment the sun went down or the moment you walked north into the cold. So when did you first cover yourself up? Surprisingly, the answer isn't written in any cave painting. It's written on lice. In 2003, a researcher named Mark Stoneking compared body lice, the kind that live in clothing, with head lice, the kind that live in hair. Body lice can only survive in fabric or fur worn against the skin, so they could only have evolved after humans started wearing something. His team calculated that body lice split off from head lice somewhere around 170,000 years ago. That's roughly the moment you started wearing clothes. Thok. Give or take a few thousand years. Your first clothes weren't sewn, they were just wrapped. You'd kill an animal, scrape the hide clean with a sharp stone, and drape the skin over your shoulders like a heavy, smelly blanket. It worked. It kept the wind off your back. But it was loose, it slipped, and it left your arms and legs completely exposed every time you moved. For tens of thousands of years, that draped hide was the best technology you had while the ice crept further south every winter. Then someone made a tool that changed everything: a needle. In Denisova Cave in Siberia, archaeologists found a sewing needle carved from a bird bone, with a tiny eye drilled through one end, dated to around 50,000 years old. That needle meant you could finally do something no draped hide could ever do: shape clothing to fit your actual body. Sleeves for your arms, leggings for your legs, a hood that stayed on your head when the wind picked up. For the first time, you weren't just covering yourself, Thok. You were building a second skin, stitched piece by piece, exactly where you needed it. Now, fast forward to one of the most famous bodies ever found, frozen in the Alps for over 5,000 years. In 1991, hikers found him sticking out of melting ice on the border between Austria and Italy. Scientists named him Otzi. Otzi wasn't wearing one layer. He was wearing a whole outfit: a coat and leggings stitched from goat and sheep hide, a bearskin hat, a woven grass cloak over the top, and shoes stuffed with dry grass for insulation, like a 5,000-year-old pair of snow boots. Imagine waking up in his gear, the weight of fur on your shoulders, the smell of tanned hide, the scratch of dry grass against your ankles inside the shoes, keeping your feet warm and dry with every step. Every single piece was cut and sewn for a specific job. This wasn't survival by accident. This was someone who understood layers, insulation, and waterproofing thousands of years before anyone wrote the word outdoor gear. Your feet needed that same kind of attention everywhere, not just in the Alps. In a cave called Areni 1 in Armenia, archaeologists found a shoe made from a single piece of cowhide, laced up the front and stuffed with grass, dated to around 5,500 years old. It's one of the oldest leather shoes ever found, and it's built almost exactly like a simple moccasin you could still buy today. Different continent, different culture, same problem, same solution: wrap your foot, lace it tight, and pack it with insulation. Now push this even further north into the Arctic, where your descendants faced cold that would kill Otzi in an afternoon. Inuit hunters built parkas from caribou hide with two layers, one with the fur facing in, against your skin, and one with the fur facing out, to shed snow and wind. Trapped between those two layers of fur was a pocket of warm air, your own personal insulation recycled by your own body heat. Wearing nothing but hide, fur, and sinew thread, people survived temperatures of -40 degrees, colder than most home freezers, for thousands of years, with zero synthetic material. Here's the part that might surprise you most. Clothes stopped being just about survival a long, long time before Otzi. In Denisova Cave in the country of Georgia, archaeologists found tiny flax fibers, twisted and dyed, dated to around 34,000 years old. Some of those fibers were dyed pink, some turquoise, some black. Someone had figured out how to color fabric on purpose, long before anyone needed a coat that color to survive. That means somewhere around 34,000 years ago, you weren't just asking, will this keep me warm? You were also asking, how do I want to look? Around that same period, carvers were making small statues of women, now called Venus figurines, and some of them aren't shown naked at all. They're wearing what looks like a woven string skirt, tied around the hips with details fine enough that researchers can tell exactly how the threads were twisted. That's not just clothing anymore. That's a textile, made on purpose, possibly to mark who you were, where you came from, or your place in the group. So here's where you actually stand, Thok. You started as a hairless ape with sweat glands instead of fur, completely exposed to the cold. You wrapped yourself in a dead animal's skin just to survive one winter. You invented a needle and turned that skin into something shaped like your own body. You built shoes for your feet and a second layer of fur for the Arctic, solving the exact same problem on opposite sides of the planet. You dyed your clothes colors that had nothing to do with warmth, just to say something about yourself. And by the time Otzi walked into those mountains, you had layers, waterproofing, and insulation that still work exactly the same way today. Look at whatever you're wearing right now. The jacket, the shoes, even the color you picked this morning. Every single part of that outfit is solving a problem you started solving 200,000 years ago, one stitch at a time.